Hi friends, I'm Chris, I'm 51 and I'm a terrible runner, but I'm trying to get better. Like I had a go at a half marathon and it was awful. Like I just about got in time before they opened the roads up to the traffic again. But this year I've put myself down for one in September 2022. I'm training properly for it, doing Maffetone heart-based method training. And yeah, I've joined a couple of running groups and joined the Extra Milist Personal Best program, it's called, which is really good. I'll talk about that in a minute. So the last summary I did was at week 4, and things were kind of going well, but then I got another little injury. I think it was ankle at the time or calf, and dropped the volume down a little bit, got back going again, got a minor injury again, and I'm being super sensitive to injuries. I used to be one of these people that just go out hard, doing whatever I was doing, go hard, and if I hit the pain barrier, I actually use that as training for my mindset. So I've got a really good mindset now. Like I used to be terrible. I used to play the victim all the time. I used to be an alcoholic, gambling, smoking, well overweight. All those things are something in the past now. So yeah, I used to go hard at it. Now I know that's not the way to do it for long-term health and fitness. And I'm super sensitive, super aware of what's going on with my body. Get any sort of niggle going on, then I'm resting till it's right again so that I can build up distance. I want to run a 100-mile event sometime. So my sort of little idea, although this probably won't be how it goes because we have to react to circumstances, is to run the half marathon this year, which is still like 8 months away. Try and do a marathon the year after, maybe a 50-miler the year after, maybe a 100-miler the year after. My goal, I would like to have a body that is in a position to be able to run 100 miles. That's what I want to be. I want to be at that level of health. Anyway, let's have a look at some numbers. I'll share the screen and get my binoculars on. Okay, so what we've got here is my Excel spreadsheet that I use for tracking my runs, which I've kind of developed over time and added little things to. First four weeks, which I've already summarized in a previous video, kind of takes up to 1, 2, takes us up to around here. So things were going okay. And then over the next couple of weeks, I picked up this injury on Boxing Day, actually. I did a 3-miler, but it was my Achilles, and Achilles is like super sensitive. So I had to rest up, and I ended up like resting for 7 days, felt good again. And then Monday was a rest day according to my running plan that I'd got from the Personal Best program. So I took that rest day anyway, went out the next day, kind of felt fine. What note have I got there? Yeah, I felt okay after injury, but then the next day I woke up, when I got up, it was right ankle, Achilles and calf. So it just gone right up that bottom part of my right leg, really. So again, I was forced to rest. So there was something like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, it was like 20 days of injury there with just one run in the middle. I really did not think I came back too quickly. As I said, I'm being super sensitive. That day, the 3rd of January, I was thinking of running. Thought I was ready to run then, but it was a rest day in the program, as I say, and I decided to take it. Another day won't do any harm. Ran again the next day. Maybe I went too far, but I did a 7.5-minute warm-up, yeah, and it just wasn't to be. So yeah, a little bit of pain there. What I've noticed is actually I've started playing golf again and walking the golf course. I've noticed that I don't know how far it is to walk around a golf, but it feels like sort of 4 miles, something like that, 3.5 miles, something like that. I've really no idea. Hilly, wet ground. I've noticed that that actually takes more out of my body than it used to when I used to play years ago. I sort of gave up playing for years. So actually my feet, my ankles, basically it's the lower half of my leg hurts. Even after walking that the next day sort of thing. I mean, I'm 51, I'm knocking on a bit, but it's not like I've never been active. I've never been, it transpires that I've never been aerobically fit, and that's why I'm using this Maffetone heart-based running method. never had good aerobic fitness, but I've got good anaerobic fitness. I'm used to martial arts, fighting, stuff like that, where it's in short bursts, but not the aerobic fitness, which is obviously something that will be very good for me as I get older. So all these runs have been zone 2 heart rate as well. So that injury on the 4th, getting injured again, you know, it's not like I was out there going really fast or anything. I'm running really very slow, having to walk a lot to keep my heart rate in my Maffetone zone. Now, my zone 2 or my Maffetone zone, just to make this clear, I use the Maffetone method, which you start with the number 180, take off your age. So for me, it was 50 when I started. So that gives me 130. And then there's a couple of other little things you add on or take off depending on your fitness levels, if you've had any injuries in the last 2 years. So I end up taking off another 5 there and having a MAF heart rate zone number of 125. And the idea is to keep training below that, but not too far below it. So I try and keep my heart rate between 115 and 125 when I'm doing these runs. That means I run for like literally a minute maybe, and my heart rate hits 125, and then it drops down. I'm using a Garmin, I think it's called Vivo Runner, something like that, and a chest strap for heart rate, because apparently the chest straps are much more accurate, and that does seem to be the case. Yeah, so then I'll walk until it drops back down to 115, and then I run again. And you can set alarms on this just to vibrate and tell you when your heart rate hits those numbers. So after these sort of 20 days, I sort of got back into it. 15th, so that's like 12 days ago, and I decided to drop down. So on the personal best program, there's different levels. I'd already dropped down once. I've actually got quite a lot of time in the week where I can train. I work for myself, I work from home. Just in case you're interested, I'm kind of a weight loss coach. I coach people around emotional eating and crushing their cravings. So if you're interested in that, let me know. But yeah, so I work for myself from home. So I can go out and train sort of any time of the day. Like to spend time with my kids in the evening, so I try not to train then unless they're busy, and then I'll just train. In fact, I quite like them to see that training is part of everyday life. And like last night, I was outside weight training at something like 10 o'clock in the evening, almost in the pitch black. But yeah, so I can fit it in any time. So got back 15th, 16th, 2 runs, 20-minute runs. I'm running, keeping my heart rate in this 115 to 125 zone. You can see there, average heart rate for that run, 120, that one 123. And average pace, 12 minutes 39 per mile, 12 minutes 31 per mile. Now that is good for me. I was really pleased with that after the break. See on that run where I came back there, it was like 14 minutes per mile. So definitely protecting a bit there, but the heart, it's by heart rate, it's not by feel. So it's not like a mindset thing. It's more what's going on with the fitness levels. And what I started doing since my last video was I started recording the first mile pace on my Excel sheet here, because the first mile that I do is almost always the same first mile. So I start off warm up and then a little bit around the estate, and then I start heading out of town or heading out of where I live. And it's almost always the same, so it saves me really having to do math tests, because I can always use that to compare. So what most people do is they do a test every month on the same terrain, maybe on a track, to see how much they've improved or whatever. But I just like having loads and loads of data, so if I do the same first mile all the time, I'm always getting a pretty good read in there if I can take averages. Now the other thing I'd do is just keep a graph of those numbers. Is there anything else worth pointing out here? The other thing I keep in my spreadsheet here is just how much time I've spent in zones 1, 2, and 3. Now, basically, zone 2 is my 115 to 125 beats per minute. Zone 1 is anything below that, and zone 3 is anything above that, because I'm not going way, way above it. So this will be like 28% below, 41% in this zone 2, and 29% above, which is too much, really. I don't want to be going that much above. If we look back, I was like having times with 12 above, 15 above, 3 above, and like it wasn't affecting times much, because it meant I sort of got back down into my zone, relaxed quicker, and was able to go again. And another thing that I just started doing since the last video is looking at my cadence. So I read somewhere, a good video, I think the bloke's name? Oh, I can't remember it now, but it's like called chi running. There's 180 beats per minute. Was good for a good cadence to run at, because it's like how much time your foot is actually in contact with the ground and how much time it's in the air. But it would mean for me that I have to take shorter strides most of the time to go at that cadence. Cadence being the amount of times you take a step per minute. So I'm aiming at 180 steps per minute now. At first, I got a load of songs on my headphones that were that sort of beats per minute, but turned out they were too erratic. So I'm actually using a metronome now, just playing in the background on my music. Yeah, so the last couple of 3 runs, I'm back on it now. But what I'm doing now, I've dropped down the volume again. I just realized that I cannot go out even, I can't, 2 rest days isn't enough for my lower legs at the moment. So I just want to go small volume, get stronger and stronger, get those muscles, tendons, joints all stronger until I can do more. But the idea is just to keep the volume to an absolute minimum, but still doing some without getting injured. I mean, that is the idea. If I'm going to do a 100 miler, I'm going to have to train so much, and I can't be affording to be getting injured all the time. So I've kind of settled just in the last few days, as you can see down here, I've kind of settled on this run a day, do strength training a day. So I stopped trying strength training for about 3 months. The last time I strength trained before this day was in October, and at the beginning of it, I think. And I've got a weight bench just outside in sort of by the back door. It's just like a bench. I can do chest press, but I've got dumbbells and kettlebells as well. So I can write myself a program, because actually I am qualified personal trainer, not that I've ever used that really. And yeah, I just got a program, tailored it to myself a little bit. And I'm just going to do strength training on my upper body really. So on one day I'm sort of doing back and biceps, another day I'm doing chest and triceps, and I'm alternating days as well. So what I'm just going to try now, and it's only been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, it's like day 6 last night, is run, strength, run, strength, run, strength, and keep them both low so I don't get injured, not do anything stupid. Now, because I'm sort of only doing upper body on strength, I may 4 days, like for example, doing my biceps every 4 days might be too much for me at the moment. So I might have to bring in another strength training day, which would probably be a core day. So like sit-ups and planks and stuff like that, which is going to be good for my running as well. So just to sort of sum up what's been going on, we'll look at my mile 1 pace graph, because the mile 1 pace, as I say, is nearly always over the same 1 mile. So it's pretty accurate. I'm using the heart rate monitor on the chest, so it's going to give me some good numbers. And, you know, I sort of understand maths pretty well, and you need to take averages over a long time. But look at this. I mean, when I first did a run, it's 15 minutes, 11 seconds for the first mile. You know, there was just so much walking in that. And almost straight away, it started coming down. And it's crazy really how much it came down straight away. But that was just from realizing how aerobically unfit I am to doing something and doing it with some attention to detail. Like I spend quite a lot of time researching this Maffetone method and zone 2, and realized how important it is to sort of separate your training and focus on that heart rate and getting the heart healthy and fit. So yeah, it sort of dropped down by a minute very quickly, and then for what, 2 or 3 weeks, it was sort of, I would say the average there was sort of this 14 minutes 20. One was at 13:44, 13:52, but it sort of already dropped down a minute very quickly. And then again, some good runs. When I was getting out regularly here, you can see the dots are closer together, so it's a bit more regular. Got sort of another 30, 40 seconds of it, and we're doing 13:26s, 13:37. I was well pleased with how much it progressed very quickly at the start. And then in this patch here, very up and down. I think I was sort of changing routes a bit there, so it may be difficult, but sort of over an average, if you sort of look over this period, you can see it's coming down somewhere, some seen way above, but it's obviously a small graph. But sort of going down from 13 and a half and actually getting some 12.19s, 12.24s. I mean, that was just like amazing, really. It's nearly 3 minutes faster than my first run. Certainly 2 minutes faster than I was going on second run and third run. So I was like really chuffed with that, really chuffed with that. Then there was the first injury and went back 13.26. Hard to tell because it's only one, but maybe being a bit protective, but it's still heart rate. So not mindset or, you know, like a perceived exertion sort of numbers. Then after that long break, I went out and I did that 12.19. When's that? About 13th of the 1st. Let's just have a look at this. Yeah, 15th of the 1st. Did this 12.19. I was like really surprised at that. Average heart rate 120. It's just a 20-minute run, 1.58 miles. Went out the next day and did a 12.13. I had some very slight, look at this, left knee, slight pain. So bang, straight away, taking a couple of extra days off. Next day was a rest. I was still on the program. It's just before I decided to go run strength. And I did walk the golf course on this day. So yeah, a little bit of knee pain, listening to the body again. This is massive, guys. If you are, I'd say it's massive even for young people, but as you get older, blooming hell, like the no pain, no gain just isn't going to work for me anymore. I'm just going to spend all my time injured. And then let's go back to the graph. Yeah, last couple, I did an 11-minute 43. I was like, I just couldn't believe that, you know, I'm still, that mile is run in the 115 to 125 beats per minute, 11:43. I mean, that's what, 3 minutes, 28 seconds faster than my first run, which is only 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago. And then next one was like 12:32. I was like, hey, what's happened there? And then a 12:11, 2 nights ago, I'm going out tonight. So I am like over the moon. 12:11 compared to 15:11, 3 minutes off. Like, I appreciate that the longer I go, the sort of better I get, or should we say the less worse I am, the less bad I am. Though the numbers aren't going to be so come down as fast as they have so far, but I think this is massive. This zone 2, this keeping the heart rate low, aerobic fitness, working on, you know, oxygen usage and stuff like that, rather than going into aerobic and not training that. It's made a big difference to me. I've got to say, I feel fantastic. It's just these little injuries, the old age maybe. Feel okay at the moment. Yeah, I should be going out tonight at some stage, maybe this afternoon, not sure. But yeah, it's great to be outside. I just love being outside. None of this is pushing myself, you know, in any sort of material way, trying to be something else. I'm just loving doing it. I'm just really happy going outside, getting fresh air, try and go out in the day if I can and get plenty of, you know, real sunlight. And yeah, I'm just really enjoying it. It's been really interesting working all this out, trying to, I don't know, not get injured, basically, to get as much volume in as I can without getting injured. And like, I have had to eat a humble pie probably 5 or 6 times by dropping volume, whereas now I'm at like every other day and I'm doing like 20-minute runs, 7.5 minute warming up, 7.5 minute cool down, and just doing a 20-minute run, and sometimes 15 there, you see, on the 23rd, 15-minute run, 1.19 miles. And that's just the way it's got to be, you know. Got to accept that the years are ticking by, but if I can keep getting out, I'm going to get to that 100 mile. I'm going to get the body that can do a 100-mile race. Guys, if you've watched this far, thanks for watching. As I said, I help people with emotional eating and craving. That's what I do for a living. I'm actually releasing 12 spots for my one-to-one program there. That should come out on the 1st of February, these 10 spots. Just message me, comment if you are interested in that. What I do is I help people with all aspects of weight loss. You know, I'm a personal trainer. I know everything about all that, different methods, how most of them all work. But most people are snacking and craving for emotional reasons. And if you can start to process those emotions rather than shut them down, it will change the game, because you won't want to snack. It doesn't mean that you can't have the things you like. Like for me, I like chocolate. I still eat chocolate, but I'm not using it as an emotional, comfort blanket, so to speak. Yeah, I've used alcohol. I've used smoking. I've used food, gambling. I've been there. I don't have any of those things in my life anymore, because I learned how to process the emotions rather than shutting them down. That's so big. Anyway, guys, I'll leave it there for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll try and keep you posted sort of every 2 weeks on this or something. Take care, guys. All the best.